D850 for 2021. The camera is now 3 years old and the question is it still worth it for 2021? Well, let's go through the camera, the front side, back side, all the bits, and let's see. 45.6 or 7 megapixel, so it's high megapixel. It's built like a tank, so that's useful. Backside screen. It's flippy out, tilty bit, so it goes all the way you want it to go, just like the D750. Illuminated buttons on the side, well, you can't tell, but these light up. Other buttons. On the side you have dual card slots. Awesome! First one is XQD and the other one is SD, plain old SD card. Really, it works, it doesn't matter. Okay, so let's turn it off. XQD card. These cards are very expensive and they are built like a tank. I own exactly one. It cost me an arm and a leg, but it's really worth it, don't worry. With the recent firmware upgrade, it supports the CF Express cards or CF, well, those new cards, and they are slightly less expensive, but I don't need one. I still have my XQD card. Something you do have to remember is you need a XQD card reader. These are expensive too, because XQD SD card, so I bought it. So that's the memory bit. Front side, well, there's all the dials and buttons that you have on the D750 and the other DSLRs. Like I said, it's built like a tank. I actually dropped my Nikon D850 on asphalt. It was on my camera bag on the top of my car and I drove away and it went clunk. I have another video about it somewhere. Damage was so-so, but still it survived. So the flappy bits, microphone, headset, HDMI. So over here you have more flappy bits for the remote, which is useful. So that's a bit the camera. What more can I tell? So now the question is it worth it for 2021? Well, is it a good camera? It's the best DSLR out there. There is no better DSLR. There is no better high megapixel DSLR. I say DSLR, not mirrorless. There's a difference. This will give you joy over many years as a DSLR camera. You can use it up to 300, 400, 500,000 clicks. It's guaranteed until 200,000 by Nikon. There's a huge lens base out there, affordable lenses, second-hand lenses, third-party lenses. So the lenses are way cheaper than mirrorless, than the Z, because the Z doesn't have really options. It has all the bells and whistles that you might want to need. Focus stacking, I love that bit. I really enjoy focus stacking for macro, for the images that come out of this D850 are stunning. Color science, detail, the autofocus system. I really enjoy this camera. So, but here it is. It's a 3-year-old DSLR camera. If you're upgrading from a D610, 600, all the cameras, D750, you want to go high megapixel. There's two things. First of all, you need to learn how to use a higher megapixel camera. That takes a couple of days of training to get used to the system. And the other thing is second-hand, because it's a 3-year-old camera. Second-hand, you can get them for $1,500, $1,600, $1,700. I mean, that's nuts. That's nuts for this camera. Have a look at it. The other thing is, if you're starting out in photography, don't buy it. buy a Z system. Not because of the quality, because the image quality between the Z7 II, Z7 I, which is the same sensor, is pretty much the same quality as the D850. I'm not quite sure if it's the same sensor, but you can't tell the difference. But if you're starting out in photography, you really want to start out with a high megapixel camera. You don't want to invest in a system that is, well, end of life is a big word, but it's phasing out. It's all, like Nikon said, we're going to invest more in the Z system. So that's the thing you have to think about. So you might rather invest in the Z system than in an old DSLR. If you already have a lens collection and are upgrading, like I said, $1,500, $1,600, $1,700. Brand new, $2,800 I think I saw today. So consider this. Image quality, amazing. AF, great. It goes up to, I think, 7 frames per second if you get the optional grip. It goes up to 9 frames a second, so that's something you might want to look at. But for regular photography, portraits, fine art, landscape, this is it. So, is the best DSLR ever made still worth it in 2021? Well, have a guess. Please like and subscribe, and I'll start on the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.